everyone, this is Thrifty Mama Scraps again. This is a continuation of my series called A Look Back at My December Daily Albums. In 2012, I didn't make a December daily album. I created an album of many different Christmases and comparing and contrasting those Christmases and those photos with each other, and a lot of journaling on different feelings that I had and different things that made Christmas special or unique. It was just a different type of album that I decided to do instead of a December daily. So this album I purchased from Once Upon a Family, which is a company that I don't think exists anymore. It was a consultant-based company that sold memory keeping items for the family. You can still purchase these type of albums on eBay and some on Amazon, and they're actually not very expensive. They range around $15, so they're not overly pricey, and I just think they're so beautiful. They're just really beautiful albums. I've purchased several of them over the years, and they seem to be really good quality as well. This is an accordion style album, so the pages go both ways. So as I go through this album, I'm going to go one way and then I'll go backwards so you can see it. This first page is a photo of myself and then my two younger kids, and they're playing in a box and I'm playing in a box. And I did some journaling that I kind of hid behind this photo, and this comes out. It's kind of stuck right now, but it comes out. And it's just basically talking about how all kids like to play in boxes, and that sometimes the boxes are more fun than getting the gift. And that you shouldn't spend so much money on your kids at Christmas time, because a lot of times they're more interested in the box, at least toddlers are, than they are what's inside the box. So that's a photo of that. And this mesh paper with the snowy overlay, that came from Club Scrap years and years ago, and it's just such pretty paper. It was a specialty paper, and so I just cut that off. These are just silver glitter thickers, and I'm not sure where this Fa La La came from. This next page is a photo of my nephew and then of my middle son, and my parents had given them both the same gift that year, and it was one of these Walmart giggle men, and the giggle was just hilarious. You pushed the hand and it giggled continuously, and just everybody just thought it was hysterical. It was a really fun toy, and we had it for many years, and it brought a lot of enjoyment to our family. And this is a photo that you've seen in my past December daily albums. If you, actually my first one in 2009, if you've seen my previous albums in this series, this is just a larger photo, and it's of the homeschool group at the Nutcracker. This is a photo of myself when I was a little girl on Christmas Eve, and in a nightgown that my mom made me. And this is such a pretty tag. I think someone made this and mailed it to me as a gift. I can't remember, but it's beautiful. This is a photo of me in college, and it's just a photo that's titled "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas," because I am all about Christmas. I love Christmas so much. Here is a 2-page spread about all the trees in my in my life, or milestones, I guess it would be called, because these are just little milestones. Here's our tree when I was a kid in northern Wisconsin. Here is a photo of my college roommate and I, and our first tree. My first tree when I was married. A tree when we bought our first house, and our first white tree. Here's a photo also when I was in college of the first time that I made Christmas dinner, and my first pies that I ever made. This was the first pie that I ever made when I was in college. And here is a pie, how I make pies now with Pillsbury dough. Here is a contrasting photo of my husband and his brother on Santa's lap when they were kids, and then these are my boys, and how much they look alike. How my youngest son and my husband's smile are so similar to each other. And then here is a photo of my middle son and his Christmas list, and a drawing that he made, what he wanted for Christmas when he was about 5. And then he got his wish. He got the lightsaber that he wanted, or lightsaber. Sorry about the dogs. They're going crazy. We have yippy dogs, unfortunately. This is a photo of my oldest son and a photo of me when I was in college. And there's balloons in the background because this was my wedding shower. And my husband is in the background, or my future husband is in the background. So my oldest son, and how much he looks like me when he was older. And here's a photo of me at a girlfriend's house that she took. I was being silly. And a photo of my oldest son, and this is titled "You Look Just Like Me." This is a photo of my middle son. He built a snowman in front of my in-laws' house. And this came in a swap. I used to do swaps years ago on Scrap Jazz, if you remember that. And this was something someone sent me. I can't remember who, but their name is probably on the back. Usually people signed the back of it if they swapped an item. And this is his very first snowman that he ever built. So he was not quite 3 years old. He was 2 in this photo. And here's a couple of photos of hot cocoa, how it's a tradition. There's my oldest son, and that's my youngest son. And here's a photo of them together when my youngest was teeny tiny, and my oldest son. Just brothers together. And this is my youngest son when we're shopping at the mall. This is something I made at a Creative Memories class, and I love how that turned out. It's just a circle punch, and you make the poinsettia by folding in the corners. That's something I'd definitely do again. And cookies in a gingerbread house with my middle son. Lots of traditions in this album. Got nog. I always make Martha Stewart's recipe for eggnog, although I do not use alcohol in our eggnog because the kids drink it. But that's a traditional thing that I make every year that's in this album. This is a photo of how our family has grown. This is a photo of my mom and my sister and I years ago. And I think my dad was in Vietnam at the time. He was in the Air Force. And so I think this is a photo that my mom sent him. Here's a photo when we just had one little guy, my oldest, my husband and I, and our oldest. And then here's a photo with all 3 of the boys. Here's a photo of when I was a kid growing up in northern Wisconsin and before our fireplace was done as kids. This is a close friend of ours, and here's my sister. just being silly. And here's a photo when my sister was just born with my mom and me. And I put a sister for Christmas. And that's kind of funny because she was born in December, and I don't look like I'm very happy about it. She cried an awful lot. I think that probably what I was thinking at that point in time was, did I do journaling on something? I'm not sure. But I was probably thinking, please, someone, keep that baby quiet. So here's a photo of when I was young and singing at the Christmas program at church. And one of our first Christmases, probably our first Christmas that we didn't celebrate at home, we celebrated at a condo in Branson with my family. And so here's our oldest. We only had one child then, and my husband and I. And this is at the condo, and all the gifts, all the families got together that Christmas at the condo, and we celebrated Christmas together. So that was our first Christmas away from home. Now, if we go back this way with this accordion album, here's just a photo. This is a current one from 2012. A gift my sister had sent me for Christmas. And here's a photo in 1970 of what I got for Christmas. And here's some traditions. Eating Christmas Captain Crunch on December 1st and getting their Lego Advent calendars. For snow in 2009. And here's snow in 2012. How we got so much snow. Actually, that isn't 2012. That's my oldest son. We lived in an apartment in 1999, 2000, and 2001 before we bought our first house. And it had snowed a ton, probably the most snow that I've seen since we've lived in Illinois. And here are some photos of when I was a kid and singing in church at Christmas and Christmas programs in church then. And then here is now. And these are our kids. They were in the Christmas program at their church. So, or our old church. And we don't attend this church anymore, but at the time that's what it looked like. This is a photo of the house that I grew up in northern Wisconsin. And this is the house that my sister and my mom and I, the house I grew up in before this house burnt down, and then my parents built this house out in the country. So this is the first house I lived in, and that was the house I grew up in, actually. And here's a photo of our rabbits out at Christmas time out in Wisconsin. We raised rabbits and had kind of a hobby farm. And here's a photo of winter in our house and how the contrast of this is how Christmas looks sometimes in Illinois and this is how Christmas looks sometimes in Illinois. So you just never know. It's a gamble. This is a photo of a snow day where the kids head off of school. It's a photo of when I got a guitar for Christmas. And first snow with the boys. And this is celebrating Christmas with my parents, with all the grandkids and everything. We usually get together with them every year. It's usually not on Christmas, however. Here's a photo of